Hey everyone, Mac is back. Today we're going to talk about the Siege of Winterfell and the revamped abilities that were obtained in there for every single commander. I'm going to go over the free-to-play first, and then we'll go to the paid commanders. So we're going to start off with the very basics in the how the Siege of Winterfell works, and then I'll go over the different formations as well for the free-to-play. Today we're going to do the spear free to play, so I'm going to go over that formation first, what seems to be the most optimal. So let's get to it. So I want to briefly go over for the new players how this event works very briefly. So you can read the instructions, you can click on the tabs up here and be able to do read and see what you need to see for those. Basically overall, you're going to either start up top with the up here, or you're going to start down below. You're going to be the red or the blue, and you're going to create 3 armies. The goal is to get the most points, similar to Alliance Conquest. The Winterfell, and here in the middle, they're going to be packages that you'd have to secure 2 different castles, as long as you own those castles. And each package that you are able to take away, you get a lot of points for it. You can see the first tier points you get for all these ones. So go in, occupy the castles, and get those points. So very, very basic when it comes to that. When it comes to making your armies, when you first log in, you're gonna have these 3 across here to be able to create your armies. You click the plus button. You pick 1 to 3 command. We can pick 3 commanders. The ones I'm going to explain today. And then once those commanders are in there, you have hotkeys for them. You'll save them. So anytime that you need to heal up and then come back and start all over again, you'll be able to do so very quickly. And then the buttons here, they show you about how to move your armies around. Selecting them, use the 1, 2, and 3 key on your keyboard, and also the one left of the number 1, which is the tilde, I believe. And that'll select all 3 armies if that's what you need to do as well. Keep them all together is the best strategy. Stay with a bunch of your alliance mates is another good strategy as well, and you should be able to do pretty well in this event. Now I want to go over some of the commanders that you're going to be able to use for free to play, and they have to be spears. So if you're making my recommendation is to make 3 formations if you're a free to play. If you're strictly bows, then that's going to be something completely different, and we'll go over that. I'll go over that a little bit later, because there actually are quite a few bow commanders in the free to play that are accessible, and you may, depending on how long you've played the game, you'll be able to get to a bunch of those. But we're going to go for spear today, and there are only 4 commanders basically that you can use for the free to play spear, and we're going to start with Garel. So I hover over him. You can see that once he's gold, and you don't have to have him awakened, you're going to get 240% spear attack, and you're also going to get 240% spear defense. Now, looking at his ability here, increases spearman defense of the commanded troops by 900% for 8 seconds. That's quite significant, even for defense. Like, defense isn't the best stat; it's actually the worst stat of the 3: the attack, health, and defense. However, being 900% is actually quite significant. The rage cost is actually very, very low at 400. However, the cooldown is 12 seconds, which is quite common among most of these commanders. So if 12 seconds is, I believe, the most, and you'll find a couple that are, I think, 10 or 8 seconds. So 12 seconds is quite common. So that's really not a negative in that respect. But the rage cost is so cheap that. And what I mean by rage, for any of you who are new, is that you're essentially going to have a bar that just goes up every time that this troops attack that Garel is part of, and when that does, then eventually it'll get to a point where the rage is full, and that's when his ability goes off. So Garel is probably going to be one of the ones you're going to have in there. Like I said, there's only 4 commanders that are spear that are free to play, so you only have so many options for that. Varys is another one. Again, another 400 rage cost, and see, I see 400 rage. If I go over here to, like, say, Hector, it's 600, so he's actually more, so it takes him a little more to get that off. But you can see his is 240% spear attack, and then reduces the normal attack damage dealt by the target troops by 90% for 4 seconds. So it's essentially reducing the attack damage almost to nothing. So it's almost like the disarm where they can't attack you at all, except this time they're only doing 10% damage. So 10% is super low. So it's a very good, that's actually a really good ability for him to have, especially for free to play. And he also gives him the 240% spear attack, which is quite top notch as well when it comes to the free to play. Now the kind of controversial, I guess, not controversial, just you may not have Hector unlocked, but Hector would be the one you're definitely going to have in there, because he's free to play because you can get him from the Weirwood Memories. So he's definitely someone that you're going to want to have. If you look at his ability, especially for free to play, he deals skill damage to the targeted troops with a coefficient of 1600. At the same time, increases the spearman defense of the commander troops by 1200%, so for 6 seconds. And then you look down, his spear defense is 320, his spear attack is 320, and his if he's facing off against some cavalry, which this obviously countered, then that's even doing more, reducing their health by even more. So he's really good for free to play. That 1600% or 1600 coefficient is really good. And even like I said, I was the 900% defense, which I said previously for Garel was good. Now we are 1200%. So so far right now, those are the three that you're going to want in there. And then the last one, you might have the Patello, because some of these were in the Westeros Pass, but like even Uma as well. But you most likely are not going to have them to be able to upgrade completely. It will take you a long time. If you do, then you're going to want to use those commanders, because looking at them, 500 rage, 240, and then there's defense there as well. So very similar actually to Garel, except for she has 100 more rage cost. So actually it's exactly the same, and it's 5 seconds. Well, which Garel? That's Garel will deal 8 seconds. So actually Garel is better than Uma. So you probably want to kick Uma out of that one. And then the last one is going to be Arslan. He'll give health and attack of spear 240%, and then increase the spear attack by 1200% for 8 seconds. His rage is a little higher. It's not 400, it's 600, so it takes a little longer to get that ability off, which makes sense because you're talking about 1200 spear attack percentage increase. And again, the cooldown 12 seconds, just like I was saying before. If you look at the other ones here, we hit 8 seconds. That's a different one for Egbert, so it's a lot lower, so he can get his ability off faster, which means he's probably pretty good. 12% or 12 seconds, 12 seconds. You can see these are 12, 12, 12, 12, and 12. So there's very rare that you get something like Egbert, but the other ones is very, very good. So my recommendation for these four, if you're going to be able to use them, you're going to be able to use three. So I'm going to use Arslan for sure. If you have Hector unlocked, you're definitely using him. And then the last probably comes between Garel and Varys, and I'm gonna say probably Varys, because he's 240%. So there's some, and it's just defense really. Like I said, I like that a lot, but you're still talking what, like 1140%, 400 rage. And here you're talking about once he gets 400 rage, it's the same amount, but he's actually reducing that damage by 10%. So I think that's a lot better ability to have. So if you have all of these, I think these four, I think it's Varys, Hector, and Arslan for your first ones when it comes to the spear, free to play. If you have some of the other ones, then you can kind of determine them on your own. You have to, like I said, Uma is one that you might have unlocked, and some other ones, because you can get these medals through certain events too for free. It would just take you a really long time to be able to get them to gold. So, and that's the one thing that I want to stress as well. If you have Garel, you're probably gonna have Garel to gold as a free to play for the most part, unless you just started. And so Varys as well. Hector you probably won't if you just started. But make sure they're gold, because if they're not gold, then like the Varys 240% will be a lot less. And it should be a lot less effective. And for free to play, you want as many stats as you possibly can. So I hope this gives you a little idea about the spear. I'm going to go over the next couple videos are going to be the other three troop types. The infantry, the cavalry, and the bowmen. So we'll go over those here in the future. Until next time, Mac out.